French company has pled guilty and paid more than $750 million in fines.
Lafarge has pleaded guilty for supporting terror groups.
Lafarge reflect corporate crime that has reached a new low.
Going into the summer of 2016, Lafarge had established itself as one of the world's largest cement companies. With operations spanning across 70 countries and over 75,000 employees worldwide, Lafarge was a global juggernaut in the industry. It seemed like everything was going perfectly for Lafarge, however it would soon be made clear that this was all a facade, papering over the dark dealings which the company was partaking in. All of which would be brought to light on June 21, 2016, when the prestigious French newspaper Le Monde published a bombshell report alleging that Lafarge had been engaged in secret deals with armed groups in war-torn Syria, including the notorious terrorist organization ISIS, and even paid them millions of dollars in exchange for benefits. The news sent shockwaves through the business world, as Lafarge had long been seen as a model of corporate responsibility and sustainability. How could such a reputable company become involved with terrorists and war criminals? In this video essay we will be going over exactly how this happened. In 2007, Lafarge's leadership saw an opportunity to expand their global footprint through staking their claim in the promising Middle Eastern market. With a growing construction industry and a large population, Syria was an attractive destination for Lafarge's cement products. And the location of the cement plant Al Jazeera, near the Turkish border, provided easy access to a transportation hub for exporting cement to neighboring countries, making it a seemingly perfect investment for the company. In 2007, Lafarge would acquire Al Jazeera, which was located in a northern Syrian area called Jalabiyah, where they would begin operations in 2010. Fast forward a year. It was now 2011, and Syria was on the brink of chaos. The once peaceful nation had been torn apart by the outbreak of the Syrian civil war, which saw a brutal crackdown on anti-government protests, leading to widespread violence and instability. The country was thrown into turmoil, with bombs raining down on civilian areas and gunfire echoing through the streets. Lafarge's plant, located near the conflict zone, also became a prime target for rebel groups and government forces alike, putting the safety of its employees at risk every day, as they were forced to navigate through this war zone to get to work. Despite the risks, Lafarge chose to continue operating the plant, turning a blind eye to the danger and fear that its employees had to face on a daily basis. As the conflict in Syria dragged on, Lafarge's activities in the country began to attract more and more attention, and not in a good way. The company's dealings with armed groups in the region came under intense scrutiny, with allegations of bribery and collusion swirling around the company. Reports emerged that Lafarge had paid large sums of money to armed groups to ensure the safe passage of its employees and supplies to and from the plant. But it was the revelation that Lafarge had been purchasing raw materials from quarries controlled by ISIS that really sent shockwaves through the international community. ISIS was a notorious terrorist organization that had been responsible for countless atrocities in Syria and beyond, and Lafarge's dealings with them were nothing short of appalling. At first, Lafarge vehemently denied the allegations, insisting that it had always acted in compliance with international law and the company's code of ethics. But as the pressure mounted, Lafarge was forced to admit that they had engaged in unacceptable practices in Syria and announced that the company would launch an internal investigation. The Lafarge scandal led to a number of legal and regulatory actions against the company and its executives. In 2019, Lafarge was fined over $862 million for its role in funding armed groups and violating sanctions in Syria. The company admitted to paying intermediaries to help it navigate through the war-torn country, which ultimately led to the financing of these groups. The fine was one of the largest ever imposed in France for a company's role in corruption and violation of international sanctions. Lafarge's CEO and other top executives were also charged with financing terrorism and violating international sanctions, which led to the company eventually agreeing to pay over $130 million in 2018 to settle the case, admitting that its Syrian subsidiary had committed unacceptable mistakes. The fallout from the scandal also led to changes within the company, including the departure of several top executives and the appointment of a new CEO. The scandal also drew attention to the role of multinational corporations in conflict zones and raised questions about the responsibility of companies to respect human rights and international law. Like and subscribe for more informative video essays.